But the biggest part of my business is pretty much the YouTube stuff. It's the
Love it.
video content creation. I started doing a little bit more video on other platforms just to, spread it a little bit out. But YouTube is still the main focus. That's where the people come from. That's where people connect with me directly. And that's how I meet people.
All right, folks, we are here. We got a good one for you guys this week. A really, really interesting person. I found Mischa scourging the forums, right? The Facebook groups, and I'm always looking for people that know what they're talking about, that have gotten great results. And YouTube for real estate is one of those things that there's a lot of information out there, a lot of people pretending they know what they're doing, pretending they know how it works. And they don't have the results to back it up. But I was able to have a conversation with Mischa. I saw him interacting with other folks, and I'm like, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. Let's get him here in the group and to share some knowledge. So, Mischa, welcome to the group today. I've got a couple questions to start us off. Who are you, right? Well, how'd you get into real estate, and how did you land on YouTube of all places as a viable, lead generation option? Go for it, man.
First of all, thanks for having me. It's a pretty strange story, actually. I was imported in the US. I always say I'm imported because my wife literally, I met my wife when she was stationed in Germany. I'm originally from
Ah,
Germany,
right.
grew up there, lived there for 28 years. The wife brought me over first to
Okay.
Missouri in 2015. We got stationed there, and
Well, that's not that long ago. Holy cow.
no,
It's
no.
fairly recently.
Almost no, almost 10 years. So it's nine
Yeah.
years since I've been, yeah, but not
Wild.
too long ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my degrees that I had from Germany, education wise, didn't count anything here in the US.
Oh,
Nada.
wow.
Yende.
Yikes.
Um, yep. I had two degrees pretty much. I had a business office manager degree, and I had a degree in car mechanics and electronics, which that would have probably counted. I worked for Mercedes for a couple of years, for 10 years, but
Huh.
I did not want to drive 2 hours to work and back just to work on cars.
Wow.
So we bought our first house. And during that process, I would almost say I was more interested in the job the real estate agent did when working than in the house that we bought.
That's wild.
And and so I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm a social butterfly. Let's try to get a real estate license.
Wow.
So
So you're coming out not just out of the area, out of the country, right? Out of the
mhm.
country, you arrive and you guys go through that process. You're like, hey, I can do this. I can become a real estate agent. So that takes some guts. That takes some guts. And so you got this is what 2016 time frame. When did you get licensed?
2016, yeah.
2016 time. Okay, I love that. So you get licensed. Then what happens? Go for it. Now this is really interesting.
So I always liked social media. I did not do video as much as I do now, but I liked social media and now and then did a little bit of video. I did create a YouTube channel back then already, but it was a really bad attempt of doing something. More of like, with your phone, doing some tours and putting them up, not really ambitious behind
So
that.
real estate. It was a real estate channel. So you tried it out. So that was early, 2016. It wasn't, I mean, YouTube been around for a long time, but real estate YouTube hadn't
Yeah.
really arrived in 2016. So you tried it out on your phone and put some content out there. Okay. So how did that go?
Yeah, that didn't do anything. That didn't do anything back then.
Got it.
Because
Got it.
I it was not intentional. Or it was just I try something new, what no one else does, and then just put it up. But I didn't stick to it that long and all that stuff. But I also did a little bit of video on Facebook and all that stuff to engage a little bit more people. And then 2019 comes around, actually. And 2019, my wife got orders to Middle Georgia, to Robins Air Force Base here in Middle
Got it. Got
Georgia.
it.
Uh, Luckily, Georgia had reciprocity agreement with Missouri,
Oh,
so it
there you
was
go.
just a transfer of license, and I had to do, I think 24-hour post-license exam, which was like a CE class. But
Nice.
by the time my license was active, COVID hit and everything shut
Oh,
down.
ouch. Dang.
Everything shut down. So, uh, I didn't know what to do. Because I couldn't meet people, and I was that kind of person who needs to go out and meet people to get
Yeah.
business, to build relationships, because it's all about relationships in the end, and
Yeah.
get being out there. So I just looked up some YouTube stuff, videos, do a little bit more videos because I had time now. I
Yeah,
couldn't
there you
do
go.
much. I
Plenty of
had
time.
time.
Plenty of time.
I had time. And then I stumbled across a challenge, a YouTube challenge of 30 days with Daryl Eves, who is
Hmm.
um he works with Mr. Beast. Let's say it that
Oh,
way.
wow. Okay.
And
Wow.
he also wrote a book about YouTube and stuff, but he had a Facebook group and he started a 30-day challenge. And in that 30-day challenge, it was like a Discord server, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain Discord for people that don't know what Discord is, but it's like a
Yeah.
voice
It's it's
channel.
it's, it's kind of like, yeah, it's like a voice
Yeah.
channel. It's like Slack, but with more features a little bit. So it's like a, yeah. I
Exactly. So he's like, well, find your accountability partners, right? Don't do it by yourself. Find your accountability partners that hold you accountable for the 30-day challenge. I was like, okay.
Wow.
All of a sudden, found a real estate agent in Michigan, Paul Walker, who's doing Paul Walker, not Paul Walker, Paul Wolford. I was watching a racing movie earlier. Sorry about
There
that.
you go. No worries.
But Paul Wolford, and he was doing video. So Paul Wolford and I connected and friended each other on Facebook. And then another guy contacted me, Dan Parker in San Diego, who is really good at YouTube right now. And Dan is like, hey, can I join your little accountability group? I
That's
was like,
funny.
oh, let me ask Paul. And I asked Paul, and Paul is like, yeah, we can take one more, but then that's it, right?
We're shutting the door.
Exactly. So we talked a little bit over Facebook. We created a Facebook Messenger three-way. And from 2019 till now, we're literally talking like at least once a week on that channel about
Wow.
YouTube channels, figuring out what works, what doesn't work, kind of pushing us further and
That's
helping
funny.
us with
So
that.
it's funny, but Mr. Beast talks about that. Like when he was doing his thing 10 years ago, right? He had a group of people that he met with, and I think they still talk to this day, right? And they all, became hundreds of thousands of subscribers, millions of views, all that kind of. That's crazy.
Exactly.
So you found
Exactly.
this crew, and you guys have kind of, been pushing each other and sharing stuff ever since. I love that.
Yeah. That's pretty much how that whole YouTube stuff started, right?
Wild.
Not really knowing what to expect, because I always thought, first of all, if you hear your recorded voice, you're like, that is not me, right? That is, what does that human sound like?
Yeah.
And then in front of the video camera, right? It was always a little weird because I started filming in my office, and my wife was standing in the door coming to the office looking, and she looked all weird. She's like, why is that guy talking to a camera, right? But that's how it slowly started with the whole YouTube stuff.
I
Out of
gotcha.
Pretty much out of the pandemic, where there is nothing I could have done to get out there and mingle with people and get connected with them, I tried to find the digital way to do so.
I got it. I got it. So you tried it once, 2016, didn't go anywhere. You're like recentered, refocused on it because you had more time in 2020. What did you do differently? Why did you get much better results the second time around?
So the second time around, there was a lot more intention behind it, because I wanted to do it and I wanted to figure out what to do. And I also wanted to be consistent with what I do. I didn't want just to post one video and then stop for 6 months and then post a video. I really wanted to make it a weekly thing, to post one video a week, long form, about the area where I didn't found much when we moved. That was another factor that kind of
Okay.
played into that, because when we moved, I did not know what Warner Robins, Georgia looked like. There was not much info out there. And I know that Warner Robins, and one thing that I knew is that Warner Robins Air Force Base is the largest employer in the state of Georgia with 33,000 employees. And
Wow.
people always move back and forth. So there must be more people like me that are looking up Warner Robins and can't find stuff.
Got it. Got it.
So
That's
that's
wild.
where try to
Scratching your
find
own
that.
itch. You were scratching your own itch. Like what would someone like me that just relocated here, what would they find useful?
Exactly. Exactly. 100%.
I
And it, I didn't know if it worked because Warner Robins, where I'm at in Middle Georgia, is a super small market. I know you all see a lot of the YouTube people that are killing it. I mean, I can name tons. Ken Pozak, that, a buddy of mine, or I know Ken, then Jeremy Knight in Austin, Texas, Christina Smallhorn. There are so many that absolutely crush it, but they're all in bigger markets, right? And
yeah.
I'm in like a tiny 77,000 population market, and it's a little different,
Yeah,
it's
100%. But Misha, if you scratch the surface a little bit, you can find a lot of reasons why this wouldn't work. You're not even from the United States. English is your second language. It's a really small town. You're full of these. It seems like you kind of ignored all of them and kind of powered through. What was it kind of? You were more intentional with the channel. Did that mean that you were more intentional in selecting the topics? You edited the videos better? How did that intentionality translate into content? How did your content change with you taking it more seriously?
So looking up people that are already doing it, like I mentioned,
Oh,
Christina Smallhorn, for example, is a
love it.
friend of mine. She is amazing. She's in Louisiana. She also has a YouTube group, and I joined that and kind of figured stuff out because she taught a lot of stuff and gave a lot of information, and there came a lot of clarity on what I would do, but also I pushed myself through it because it was kind of like desperation. And the reason for that kind was I love to work and I hate to be bored. And when we first moved down here, I had nothing going on, no transactions, no clients,
Wow.
and
Zero.
I had a good business in Missouri. I really had a
Wow.
good business without the video content over there. I built up my clientele. In my first year, I won the Rookie of the Year for the county. I was voted the best of the best in my first year, and had like 6.5 million in a
Wow.
hundred. Back in the day, it was $145,000 average home price.
Yeah, people up to like the Midwest. I mean, it's different, right? It's not this.
Yeah,
This is people. A lot of people that watch this are in Texas, California, Florida. Guys, not every place is like that. I know, there's a lot of these towns that have, like I said, 100, 200,000 is the typical price point. They get the 6 That's very impressive. But you went and started from scratch yet again, right?
exactly. Yet again. And I was frustrated. I was at that point where I told my wife, hey, I'll fly to Missouri during the week, do business there, and fly back home.
That's wild.
Or at one point, even I sat down with my wife and I was like, I cannot do that. I cannot sit at home and,
Twiddle my
trying to
thumbs.
chase the dream. I need to do something. If I have to, I go stock shelves at Walmart. I was at that
Wow.
point where I was a full-time real estate agent, fairly successful in the Midwest, to almost quitting the whole thing after five
Wow.
years.
That is wild.
And
That is wild.
that's where I found those two people, Paul and Dan, which I'm extremely grateful for. And I said, now this is the time. I'll push myself. This is the way to get in front of people. And then through those groups came ideas. We bounced ideas off of each other. Hey, look, do you think people would want to know what the pros and cons are? That's like, I mean, that was 2019. So that's quite a while back. Um, and then we started with that, and each one did the video, and someone came up, Paul came up one week with another idea, and I was like, oh, I could kind of reverse engineer that and put it into perspective of the town I live in, right? And then also the military aspect. I had the military aspect, those two didn't. so I could make content for military families and what they need to know before moving to the area. And that's how the content evolved. And I absolutely sucked at it. Let me tell you that my first videos were absolutely horrible.
Love it.
Absolutely horrible.
I got you. I got you. But I mean, so now I'm getting the mindset. Like, you're kind of, this is desperation is setting in. You're restless. And then the frustration of having a successful business and then getting uprooted and starting from zero. That's got to mess with you at some level. And you had no way to go but up. You're going to make it work. Make it work or make it work. There was no plan B. Got to make this, take it off. And tell me, what was that process like? How many videos did it take? How many months did it take before you started seeing some light at the end of the tunnel?
So I started creating content about the area and then also about the state of Georgia. And it took me about 6 months back then,
Wow.
consistently working one video a week. And
Wow.
back then I edited all my videos myself too. So it took me pretty much recording it like an hour and then editing it like 6 hours,
Wow.
right? And
Oh,
that was one day work each week for one video, and it took me about 6 months to get leads, but I got multiple people contacting me all of a sudden, and
oh,
to it was to that point where I was like, "Dang, this thing is working." I gotta keep moving on and pushing content out. And back then, there was no shorts. Shorts was not there yet on YouTube
got
on
it.
the
Got
platform.
it.
So, and I'm still pretty much long form content creator on that part. But it took about it. I would say actually I'm wrong with the 6 month. It took 6 months to close my first transaction.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I would say it took 4 months to get in contact with my first military family that had a window of 2 months moving to the area, and then they closed within that.
I got you. I got you. So, about 15, 20 videos in, you started seeing some people reaching out, some people talking to you. And then 6 months in, you had your close. That's awesome. That's really, really good. So, it wasn't like 100 videos before you saw some traction. You saw it faster than that, right? I love it.
Yeah.
And nowadays, how's your channel doing? Is it your main source of business? What's it look like right now? Was it almost 4 years in?
Yeah, it is absolutely. Last year it was right around, I don't know. Last year I think I was right around 24 transactions. Um, uh, s- Strictly from YouTube, which was a lot of the business. It was like last year dipped down a little bit because we all,
The market? Yeah.
2023. Yeah. The year prior though, I literally had 95% of my business out of 41 transactions, 95% were YouTube. This year so far, I closed, to be honest, I closed 12 transactions. I
Nice.
think somewhere that they were all from YouTube.
100%. Now you're 100% YouTube.
So
100%
right now,
YouTube.
yeah, as of right now, but that changes. But the biggest part of my business is pretty much the YouTube stuff. It's the
Love it.
video content creation. I started doing a little bit more video on other platforms just to, spread it a little bit out. But YouTube is still the main focus. That's where the people come from. That's where people connect with me directly, and that's how I meet people. But also, I know that it works, and it's a funny thing. Even when I started, when we talk about 4 years ago, 2019. Now, about 2020, my daughter was youngest was in daycare, and I dropped her off daycare, and there was that lady coming out of the daycare. I held open a door, and she's like, "Mr. Thompson, I like your videos. Keep doing them." And I did not know that lady, right? And now that comes, and my wife is always, oh,
That's
Jeez,
funny.
his ego is getting bigger and bigger
Look
because
out, guys.
now if he thinks people are actually knowing him, and then we go to a festival next town over, go to the milkshake shop, and I get out and there's a guy across the street. He's like, Misha, I watch all your videos, and my wife is like, oh my god.
That is hilarious. YouTube
But
famous. You're YouTube famous.
it's it builds rapport with people. It builds
Love
a
it.
brand. It builds a brand. And if you know the way I do it, I'm also completely me. I never, one thing that I started doing right off the get-go is not pretend to be someone that I'm not. I am me. If I curse, I curse. If people don't like that, they don't like that.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's automatically sorts out the people that want to work with me and the ones that don't.
Yeah, 100%. So and people want that authenticity, right? They're not on social media to be sold to. They're not on YouTube to be sold to. Although, well, you can argue that, right? All the ads you get on the platform. But that's not what they're going to pay a ton of attention to. They're there to be entertained, they're there to learn something. And if you can combine those two, even better. So, Misha, there's a lot of I want to call them myth understandings about YouTube. There's a lot of people that say YouTube works this way when it really works that way. So what do you think are the biggest mistakes real estate agents, because you probably made them yourself, I'm sure, right, in
Oh
this
yeah.
journey? What are the biggest mistakes agents make when they try YouTube? Because I see a lot of people who've tried YouTube, and I see agents with 0 views on some of their videos. Like it's actually kind of impressive. Wow, how'd you get no one to watch this, even yourself, right? Or less than 5 views in some of these videos.
Uh,
What are the big mistakes they make that you've seen, that you see over and over again?
So the first thing, they get 0 views because the algorithm is not pushing it out to anyone. And that means that that content sucks. Is it the thumbnail? Is it the title? I think one of the mistakes for sure is people don't put enough time into thumbnail and title. Those are the two that generate click through, and that is important. Also, what a lot of real estate agents, what I've seen over the last couple of years, and I'm guilty myself at the beginning, do is do content about 5 buyer mistakes, 5 seller mistakes. No one wants to watch that crap. It's just the way it is. No one wants to watch. No one wants to watch a video where we as real estate agents talk about real estate jargon for 10 minutes. It is
Got it.
boring. No one wants to. No, people want to connect with you as a person and know that you have a family life, know that you live somewhere, know that you have connection with the community. They want to know what is going on in the community, why should you live in that community, and where is the best breakfast in that area. So I think the second biggest mistake, the first big mistake is not putting time into title and into the thumbnail. Second biggest mistake is creating content no one is watching. And it is very easy to get caught up by doing content and looking up other real estate agents and then just rip off and duplicate. You can't do that. You can rip off and duplicate, but make it your own. Not do it one word for word, make it your own. And then don't do real estate stuff that we as real estate agents do on a daily basis, because buyers and sellers or people who move in don't want to listen to our crap. They don't want to know what the biggest mistakes our buyers make. It's not important to them. So there are certain topics to stay away from. Make the videos about the area. Make the videos what people are searching for. And if you start doing those videos like moving to, living in, pros and cons, best suburbs, most expensive neighborhoods in the area, new things coming to town, when it's a current matter, of course, you cannot say new things coming to town for Starbucks that opened 6 months ago. But it's stuff that people really want to know. It's kind of like a news outlet, right? They want to know what's going on, where are they heading into, what is happening in the area. Best schools. I know we as real estate agents, there is a fine line with schools and stuff, but there are things You can use niche.com, greatschools.org, and always refer to those platforms, and you are not doing any harm. And you do not no foul. Because it's not your opinion. It's an opinion of a third party website, which you could use as best schools in Patoga, Oklahoma, for example, right? It's just think about stuff that that people really want to watch. Put yourself in their shoes, moving to the area or leaving the area, and what you would look for, and then create that content that way.
I got you. So that's another bit. Any other? So you mentioned thumbnail, title, not being intentional with it, not doing it the right way. Talking about real estate stuff instead of lifestyle, location, destination, which is how people actually think about these things, right? They don't talk about, what's an escrow, what's this jargon, technical jargon about real estate. It's really about the way before that. They're thinking about destination. They're thinking about neighborhoods. They're thinking about schools. They're thinking about the best breakfast place. They're thinking about that. Like Gary Vaynerchuk says, be the mayor of your town. Like you're the mayor. Like Mischa owns this town, right? He knows everything. He knows everyone, and they know him. And he's your source of information. And he happens to be a real estate agent. They can probably help you make that dream come true. But here's the dream. Here's the dream, and it's usually not really. I love that. Any other mistakes you see people make? Are those the big ones?
No, there's one more that I think is a mistake that keeps people from actually keep returning and watching your content, which is if you start a video and you start a video with a hook, right? Then right after you say that, you say, hey, this is Linda with Remax United. I'm a local real estate agent, and I would like to help you move to the area. Call me, email me, text me. I want to be your real estate agent. If that takes up like a whole minute, people are going to click away. So I got to leave that out of my videos. I did it at the beginning. I always start, hey, this is Mischa Thompson, your favorite Warner Robins real estate agent, and then keep right back. So this takes about 5 seconds. People are not clicking off. I got that idea from Jeremy Knight, by the way. And then at the end, when they're still watching, I still can put a call to action. Hey, if you're moving to the area, I can help you. More than happy to take the time to talk to you. My contact information is in the description below. If you bombard them with that stuff at the beginning, they click off as soon as you start talking, and then your video gets a couple of views, but no retention. And then people who want to see it or might be interested in, because after that part, your content might be amazing. They never see that.
Gotcha. And YouTube gives you the tools. Creator tools kind of show you the drop off, right? They can kind of show you how many seconds it kind of takes. And so the tools actually tell you how good or how bad you are at retaining people after those first few seconds, right?
Absolutely. That is YouTube. The YouTube analytics is the most important thing to watch at, because it tells you, is the video at the beginning shit, or is it good? What in it, you might have graphs where they are peaks in the middle of the video, and you're like, why the heck is it? Watch it over and see what you said and how you said it in that moment, because that intrigued people to keep watching, right? And watch it over again. And then I always wrote down notes. The first couple of videos, I digested them step by step. I looked at the analytics. I wrote down what I found, and then tried to keep it try to make it better. Of course, I'm telling you, YouTube is a beast that can't be really conquered, other than Mr. Beast and Mark Rober and all those guys who put content out because people love to see them. There's one thing that you got to be aware of when you do that. It could be that you think you did the best video ever, and you uploaded it, it performs the worst. And then the video where you might think, oh, this actually quality is crap and this and that, performs the best, because you are you and people can relate to you. So as long as your audio is good and you do a video, don't sweat the cuts and transitions or anything. Just don't make it boring.
Gotcha. I got you. It's the entertainment factor. People want to be entertained and entertain them. I love it. So Mischa, what's your process look like now? When you started, you said it was like basically a full day. you'd record for an hour, and then you take, the rest of the day to just edit the darn thing. What does your process look like today? You're still releasing a video a week. Have you changed that? You batch them all, for 3 days straight. What's your process to create content nowadays?
So I try to be very consistent. This year I missed 1 week, but I absolutely was not in the mental and physical state because I was sick and I couldn't
Oh
film
man.
one, and that went over a week and a half, so I missed a week. But usually what I do is Tuesdays is content day. I don't do anything other than content. I
Love
sit
it.
down, I figure out some videos, some content ideas, and then I sit on the same table. I got my camera mounted, always at the same position, always the same. I always have to move over, start the camera, I record, I send it to the editor sends it back, and I upload it. And while I'm waiting for the editor, I'll come up with the thumbnail, which that is probably where I put the most time into
Wow.
is the thumbnail, to be
Wow.
honest. Um, and sometimes I'll sit there and do 3 videos a day. And sometimes, here's the deal. If you start video recording yourself and you come up with some people use scripts. I don't use scripts. I don't like it. I got notes and then I figure out what to say right off the rip. I read a note and then it comes straight out. But sometimes I sit here and a video takes forever.
Wow.
It takes forever. And then I know today is not the day. I'm not recording a second one. And then there are other days where one video, I was like, oh, this is smooth. I keep going. And then I
Right.
record a second, I record a third. And then I have content that I can send to my editor, and then I have 3 weeks, right? Best thing is
Gotcha.
batch content creation, especially if you start, might be the best to just pre-record 10 videos and then have 10 weeks to breathing room, because believe me, a week goes by super fast and you
It
forgot
does.
to record. And
100%.
you're like,
You get busy, you got a lot of showing, you got a lot of deals in the pipeline, a deal hits an issue, you can
yeah,
easily forget. Maybe having a week or two buffer is probably, yeah, that would be ideal, right?
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. It's great. So, this has been awesome, Misha. This has been really, really informative. I love it. I mean, if people want to continue the conversation, they want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to contact you? Tell me.
They can find me on Instagram. Instagram is probably the best.
Love it.
My handle is the German agent.
Ah, there you go. I love that. I love that.
So you can find me there and just DM me and
Yeah,
we can
I love
talk a
that.
little
Well,
bit different.
you know what? There's one more question.
Yeah.
I'll let you go after this one. So I want to roll back to the beginning of the story because the Missouri part is kind of just a stepping stone to where you are now. But I do have to ask you. You had a lot of success for being in such a small market, right? Low price point, everything, and you had everything stacked against you, right? Not foreigner, all these things, didn't know anyone, no sphere of influence. So how did you jumpstart your business, basically starting from zero in every sense of the word, starting from zero? Your wife didn't know anyone there, I'm assuming, right? Like both you guys are transplants relocated for
Yeah.
the military. How did you start and how did you kill it, without pre-YouTube? I'm curious about that.
I always I always kept in mind what my dad told me when I was a kid. If you work hard enough, you be successful enough. And I started working hard enough. I mean, I started. Now I don't do it. I started following every single lead there is, and that sometimes that is a wasted time. Now I know that I don't do that anymore. But I went to the office. Now I don't. I have my office at my home, but I went to the office at 7 o'clock in the morning. I left at 7 o'clock at night. I did social media posts. I went to the young professional meetings. I went to the Chamber of Commerce meetings. I plugged myself into the community. I I just visited lenders that I didn't know who they were, but I introduced myself. Hey, I'm Mischa Thompson. I'm the new agent here in town. Just wanted to introduce myself. Maybe we can go and drink a coffee or something like that, right? Just start building relationships with people you do not know. One conversation a day can spark all that. And I left home. Both of my sisters, by the way, left Germany too and live in the States right now. But
Wow.
um, I left home and I was new. My mom and my dad were always extremely hardworking people, and they were
Uh,
successful because they were hardworking.
got it.
And uh, that's why I get bored when I don't work. I mean, if I have like a half hour of not working, I get bored. It sounds weird. People, somebody's like, "You can relax for half hours." I was like, "No, I can't. It's not the time to relax." And it's more like what my dad and my mom were for me as a role model. Uh, I know they grinded their whole life to
Got
be
it.
where to get where they were and to be successful at what they do. And that's the mindset that I had. I had to come to a new country. I came to a new country because it was my choice. I didn't have to, but it was my choice. I had to adapt to that country. Um, I had to take in everything that country gave me, all the rocks it threw into my way. But I knew if I adapted and become a member of the society, I will be successful here.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. I love that story because you had to hustle. You didn't have a magical solution. You just did the good old fashioned building a network from zero, building a relationship, and it worked out really, really well. Final question: who has the best food? Germany, Missouri, or Georgia? I'm gonna put you on the spot there. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Who has the best cuisine in your opinion?
Okay, Germany has, as a country, the German food is better than the U.S. food, 100%.
There you go.
It's not even close. It's not even close. It's same with beer. You cannot tell me that the
That's
American stuff
true.
is beer.
That
But
not really.
but when it comes to barbecue, Missouri is top notch.
Oh, wow, that's really good. I've heard good things about the Missouri barbecue. I got to try it sometime. Misha, this has been a joy, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And hey, open invitation to come back here in the group, and we'll talk about the next topic on the next one. Awesome. Thanks so
Awesome.
much, man.
Thank you.